Welcome back. This is your daily news report, your stimulus check update, your second stimulus check update as of Friday, November the 20th. The government now has 21 days to pass a new government funding bill, or the government will be shut down. Politicians in Washington are urging that they merge the stimulus bill with the government funding bill to force it across the finish line. The Trump campaign will pay $3 million in the state of Wisconsin for a recount. We will also touch on the recount in Georgia, and we'll talk about what the Trump campaign is negotiating, possibly in Michigan. The jobs report released 742,000 new cases of unemployment, with fiscal cliffs of the CARES Act on the horizon. This is not good news. And we'll also talk about the order in which people may be eligible to receive the vaccination for the virus, in what order it will be released to the public. Today is November the 20th, and I do hope you're having a very great day. Let's start by talking about the order in which the vaccinations will be released to the people. The vaccination will be rolled out in 4 phases. Phase 1 will be eligible to healthcare workers, the elderly, and those with medical conditions. Phase 2 will be rolled out to prisoners, those in detention centers, people in homeless shelters, teachers, and essential workers. Phase 3 will roll out to children. Phase 4 will roll out to young adults and everybody else. Dr. Fauci believes that we need 75 to 80% of all Americans to receive the vaccination in order to end the virus. Polls are suggesting that 58% of all Americans will be willing to take the vaccination, while 42% will refuse it. Now, regardless of whether you decide you wish to take the vaccination or refuse it, I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments down below as to whether you believe that this phase rollout is fair, the order in which people will be eligible to receive the vaccination. My question to you is, let me know if you believe that this is fair or unfair. And I thank you to everybody who commented in all my previous videos. Now, some of the concerns that people have raised in other videos are the speed at which we've arrived at this vaccination. This has been a record speed, considering the previous vaccination to this magnitude was for the mumps. And that took 4 years to develop. So comment down below if you believe that this is arriving too fast, and if you believe that this is a fair order in which you can be eligible. And while you're down there, it's probably a good chance to grab your 4 free stocks from Webull via the link down below. Moving over to your update on stimulus, with the government having 21 days before they break for the holiday seasons, the government funding bill is actually moving rather smoothly. Certain members of Congress are recommending that they merge both the stimulus bill and the government funded bill together to kind of force that issue across and get something passed for immediate relief. Now, this is viewed as a bad idea, considering that this would not stop the fighting, right? Naturally, there's a lot of arguing between the current bill, the HEROES Act, and of course the skinny bill being proposed by Mitch McConnell. And so it's being viewed as this would not stop that arguing, and nothing, the worst that would happen at that point would you'd have a government shutdown because the two bills are now combined. So Nancy Pelosi has been reelected as Speaker of the House for the next 2 years. Many are believing that because there is such an utter failure between the Republican parties and the Democratic parties to get a bill passed, whether it was the HEROES Act or the skinny bill proposed by Mitch McConnell, it's believed that those are viewed as utter failures and they should just be thrown out and have a new bill proposed to the floor. What does this bill look like? Well, this bill would mostly resemble the bill being proposed by the Problem Solvers Caucus. Problem Solvers Caucus have 25 members of Democrats and 25 members of the Republicans to come up with a bipartisan bill of $1.5 trillion. I'll touch on some of the highlights within that $1.5 trillion. Stimulus checks, including 2 rounds. The first round would be a $1,200 stimulus check with a $500 per child and dependent. There would be an automatic round two of the stimulus check released in the same amounts, $1,200 and $500 per child, based on current metrics of the overall virus and what the economy looks like. There would also be a second round of PPP included. This would be $240 billion with $50 billion of idle. And there would also be unemployment checks included in this, $450 per week for 8 weeks, $600 in lost wages for 5 weeks, and an extension, which when it was first proposed would be extended in February based on metrics, but this could also be adjusted to whatever the new bill would look like. They would also rectify the major problems with the Main Street lending program, where there is currently $600 billion sitting in the Federal Reserve of unused funding that could be allocated to programs that make more sense for the American people. Right now, it's been proven that the Main Street lending program is rather difficult to access funds, unless, of course, you are a very large corporation, and small businesses are having much trouble reaching those funds. There would be aid for $25 billion in rental assistance. This would also extend a student loan forbearance. There would be funding for broadband, agricultural, and USPS. State and local funding would receive $500 billion. Now, originally the Republicans declared about $300 billion is needed for state and local funding, but they've been willing to increase that with this Problem Solvers Caucus to $500 billion, but not near the $800 or $900 billion that Nancy Pelosi is requesting. And of course, $130 billion of that would be adjustable based on whatever the metrics are. This would also include liabilities protections with OSHA protections and OSHA guidelines for both schools, businesses, and local restaurants, etc., anything out in the public sector. $130 billion would be allocated to schools, $15 billion for childcare, virtual learning, $100 billion, $30 billion to higher education, and there would be $100 billion allocated to COVID, with $25 billion for testing and tracing and $30 billion in the healthcare sector. The jobs report posted that 742,000 new Americans filed for unemployment. We're actually nearing many fiscal cliffs at the end of this year, which are rather alarming considering 742,000 new jobs report. This is a new high trend. Now, of course, these fiscal cliffs are student loans, deferment, unemployment ends on December 26th. That'll be the last day a payment can be eligible. The Main Street lending program is coming to an end. The renter's protection is coming to an end. This is coming at a very bad time considering that many states are moving towards the lockdowns and the reduction of the workforce, declaring what is and is not essential. Restaurants are being reduced, and this is happening at many states across the United States. Currently in the U.S., we are sitting at 3 million cases of COVID. This is 1% of all Americans. Dr. Fauci again believes that 75 to 80% of all Americans will need to take the vaccination in order to end this virus. Our current cases as of yesterday, as of Thursday, we are sitting at 187,428 new cases with 1,962 new deaths. Very shocking numbers. It is so shocking that you can go on to Google right now and watch prisoners moving bodies to mobile morgues in El Paso. Rather alarming video, rather alarming information, but literally just Google El Paso prisoners mobile morgues and you will see prisoners being used to move bodies. And on the election, the Trump campaign will pay $3 million for a vote recount in the state of Wisconsin. This is not the statewide recount, but more of a focused effort. The statewide recount would have cost $7 million. And the Trump campaign believes that if they focus on a series of counties where they saw a giant spike in Biden-favored votes, they believe that this ballot dump will contain a lot of fraud. In Georgia, a hand recount was conducted to the tune of 5 million ballots. Biden, however, is still in the lead. However, the election results have not yet been certified. Biden has a lead of 12,000 votes, and after the recount, he had dropped in votes by 496 votes. I'd like to share with you an interesting statistic that 74% of Republicans believe that there was some level of voter fraud and that President Donald Trump should not concede the election. This is weighed against the 6% of Democrats that believe there was no voter fraud. Legislators in the state of Michigan are being invited to the White House by President Donald Trump. This could be an attempt to persuade the legislators and intervene on the election results before the electoral colleges are cast. So this is a ploy to essentially sway against the popular vote. The way the electoral colleges work is that the electoral colleges, the legislators, go with the popular vote, and they cast their votes on December 14th at the electoral college. This could be an attempt to persuade them otherwise and to go against the popular vote. More to follow. That has been your daily news report, your stimulus check update, your second stimulus check update for Friday, November the 20th. I thank you very much for joining me for this video. And if you guys like the way I presented this content, consider becoming a subscriber. When I reach my next 1,000 subscribers, I will pick one lucky comment from below to give $100 away. So I do hope it's you. I wish you all luck. Just remember, be a subscriber and post a comment down below, and I will select, when I reach my next 1,000 subscribers, a lucky winner from that group. So I wish you all best of luck, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.